Come on, boys. Liverpool are the best team in the world. The best. I'm saying it here. We're going to win the Champions League. That was world class from Roberto Firmino. What a hero. 3-2 against PSG. One of the favourites of the Champions League. We are the best. We are better than all the rest. Roberto Firmino. What a finish. Right at the end of the game. Bottom corner. Absolute class from the Brazilian magician. He's got one eye. For goodness sake, he's got one eye, but he can still bang him in. Absolutely brilliant. And honestly, the whole performance from the team, I'm so happy with. I thought we'd thrown it away in about the 83rd minute when Mbappe scored, but we hadn't, because we had Firmino waiting on the bench to come on and score like he always does, because he's so good. Firmino was always going to win us that game, and wow. What a performance. 0-0 in the game between Napoli and Red Star Belgrade. And, of course, 3-2 to us, which puts us top of the league. Not just the Premier League now, but also the Champions League. So, what happened in the game? Well, we dominated the first 10 minutes or so. But then PSG got back into it. So, it's pretty even until Sturridge banged in a goal with his head. Cracking header. And he is a world-class player. You're not going to start him with a Firmino. We've just seen why Firmino is just brilliant. But, so that's why he can't start in the Premier League. The 4-3-3 works too well with of course, the two central midfielders and the one defensive midfielder. Centre midfielders pushing forward, and then you got the wingers maybe cutting inside. Firmino dropping back. It just works so well. It's so creative. It's so fluid. That's why the 4-3-3 works. So I wouldn't change formations to get Sturridge in, but I would still like to see Sturridge more involved in the Premier League because he's been very good tonight. The only problem is, of course, his pressing isn't quite at the standard of Firmino. He's more of a poacher, more of a finisher than a hard worker, but he's still a class player. This is his first start since 2012, and he's bagged himself a goal. So fair play to Daniel Sturridge, first Champions League start in so long. He is a quality player, so fair play to him. He did well there. And then we went 2-0 up, of course, didn't we? With James Milner, he scored the penalty, and Wijnaldum won it. It was a clear and obvious penalty. Millie stuck it away, as he always does. You can always rely on James Milner to stick away a penalty. So we're 2-0 up, life's good. But, of course, then you get that Meunier goal. Robertson got unlucky with the deflection, to be fair. Meunier with a decent finish. 2-1 at half time, but it's still okay. The problem is, though, we are struggling to close out games so much this season. Salah gave the ball away for the Mbappe goal, which isn't good enough, to be honest. It's problems of our own making. It's like Alisson against Leicester when he conceded the goal. It's problems of our own making. We really shouldn't be making these kind of mistakes that lead to goals. And in this case, almost cost us 2 points. Thankfully, it didn't in the end, but it could have done. And we really need to cut out these mistakes if we're going to challenge to win the Premier League or to win the Champions League. So yeah, I just want to know where we're going to learn from them, to be honest. We got lucky against Leicester. We got very lucky against Spurs because despite dominating against Spurs, we didn't take our chances, and the Spurs came down the other end, scored in stoppage time, and then really should have got a penalty at the end, to be honest, with that Mane challenge on Son. So we got away with that as well. And you could say we got away with this PSG one, but thankfully, rather than just luck and the referee not seeing anything, this time it's actually of our own making. It's Roberto Firmino who wins us the game rather than a dodgy referee's decision. So he did get lucky in the Premier League games, and to a certain extent, we got lucky today, but we've still got a 100% record. That's the main thing. We're still doing so well. We've won every Premier League game, and now we've won against PSG in the Champions League. We are unstoppable. Firmino to come off the bench and bang in a winner in the 91st minute is absolutely unbelievable. And the midfield, I've got to give a shout out to them. The midfield throughout the game was so good. And yeah, it was just a world-class performance, to be honest. Apart from obviously the mistake that led to the goal at the end, generally we just played really well. The defence was decent. The midfield was so hard working. They did so well. The attack obviously good, banging the goals in. And of course we got the massive super sub on the bench, Roberto Firmino. What a performance from the boys. Salah also scored, but it was disallowed. It probably was rightly disallowed, to be honest. Sturridge's foul on the keeper was a foul, but generally I'm so happy with that performance. Up the Reds, come on Liverpool, and let's bring on Napoli in the Champions League. Well played to the boys, and you can't not be happy with a 3-2 victory. Get in!